Hey, it's Thomas here, and today we're going to do a quick review and unboxing of the Fluval FX4, which is the new filter from Fluval that sits right in between the Fluval 406 and the FX6. When you open up the box, you're going to see some quick setup instructions right on the flaps. Inside the box, there's going to be a more thorough instruction manual and water change instructions. Then you'll find a box of filter components. You can just pull that right out. A nice protective foam sheet, which is now useless, as well as the tubing and the output nozzle. And finally, the FX4 itself. Wrapped around the FX4 is the rib tubing you're going to use for the inlet and the outlet. When you open up the FX4, you're going to find the warranty card with some pertinent information you're going to want to read real quick. Stop. Arrête. And then the media baskets that are easily removable and held together with two red T-bars. And inside the baskets, all the media you're going to need to set up the canister. Inside the component box, you're going to find the pair of quick disconnect valves. You're also going to find a pair of U-clips to hold the tubing onto the tank. Next, you're going to find this little package with some suction cups as well as clamps to keep the tubing on there nice and tight. And lastly, you're going to have the intake assembly, which is essentially the intake pipe along with the intake basket. The Fluval FX4 has a lot in common with the larger Fluval FX6, and they share the same features. Things like those quick disconnect valves on the top of the unit to make removal from the aquarium for maintenance nice and easy, so you don't have to take the lines off the back of the tank. They also have that bottom maintenance valve for draining the canister. You also get that bottom mounted motor, which makes priming the canister pretty easy. This is one of those few canisters you can just dump water in and plug in, and it'll actually start working. You've also got 5 stages of filtration. That's all 3 types of filtration: biological, chemical, and mechanical, spread across 5 stages. So you're going to have a couple different types of mechanical filtration, a couple different types of biological filtration, and then you've got your chemical in the form of carbon. The Fluval FX4 also has the exact same installation sets. So you're going to have that nice big intake screen to make sure that you get all that fish waste in there without restricting any flow. And you're going to have that dual output so you can ripple the surface with one and then, point it down in the tank with the other to get that circular centrifugal flow in the aquarium and blow all the stuff everywhere so it ends up in the filter. So what's different about the Fluval FX4 compared to the FX6? Well, it's smaller. It's got one less basket, and the pump is 700 gallons per hour instead of 925 gallons per hour, which is still a pretty beefy canister filter. I mean, this little monster is still good for tanks up to 250 gallons in size, and realistically, you probably don't want to put it on anything too much smaller than that because that's a lot of flow. Another new feature, which you'll notice looking at both the Fluval FX4 and the new version of the FX6, is they put a pair of clips on the lid of the canister, and those clips are there to hold the maintenance tube that they previously weren't there to hold, which means the maintenance tube was just kind of lying on the bottom of your stand, or you'd take it off and put it somewhere else. Now you can leave it there and just clip it to the top of the canister and everything stays nice and neat. The clips are also really handy for when you decide to use that water changer that Fluval now makes available for both of the FX4 and FX6 models. Now, what I really like about the Fluval FX series, number one, their pumps are designed to purge any air that might be trapped in the system. Once an hour, it's going to go ahead and do that, which is a great feature. It's essentially going to keep your impeller in tip-top shape, making sure that no air is causing grinding or disruption in the canister filter. I also really like the fact that these canister filters have a high GPH rating, meaning on a larger system like they're designed to handle, you're going to get a lot of turnover within the aquarium, a lot of circulation to help push all that debris towards the intake of the canister and really pump those oxygen levels up through surface agitation. Now, there is one thing about these canisters that I do not like, and that is the ribbed hosing. I'm not a fan of this stuff. Ribbed hosing, in my experience, tends to trap a lot of debris inside of it. It's a little bit more finicky to work with. You essentially have to use these little rubber stoppers on the end of it to make sure that it doesn't leak, whereas vinyl tubing or regular silicone tubing is essentially going to create its own seal when you put it on, and it's a little bit easier to work with. And the other thing I don't like is it's very difficult with this style of tubing to use any aftermarket outflow devices, something like a flow swing, which is awesome. I have to actually work really hard to get it onto one of these, or just change out this tubing entirely so that it fits. So it'd be awesome if they just started you off with regular silicone tubing like the other canister filters. So the take home from this review is that if you are looking for a big canister filter to filter a big aquarium and have a nice high GPH rating while being quite affordable for the size of the canister, because let me tell you, they can get pricey, Fluval is the way to go. Have a look at them. They come with a lot of media, everything you need to get going right off the hop. It's a great investment, and your fish are really going to appreciate it, and so will you, because your tank will be clean, which means you get to keep your hands out of it more often. If you'd like to check out the Fluval FX4 or maybe pick one up, go ahead and click here, or you can check it out in the description down below. We'll throw a link down there for you. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section or reach out to us on social media like Facebook or Twitter. Also, check out our Instagram channel. That thing's blowing up. And don't forget to subscribe because we have new videos coming out all the time. We've got some really cool series coming up. And as always, you got to keep on tanking. And if you got a monster tank, you might want to do it with a Fluval. Now, what I really like about the Fluval, and your fish are going to love you for it, which is the important thing, I would think, is we do it for the fish. And they swim, and they're happy. And that's what makes us happy.